All right, good evening. It's February 18th, 2020, and this is a meeting of the Shrewsbury Conservation Commission. Our first item is to review and approve minutes. We have a number of minutes under development and comment right now, and we don't have any to sign tonight. The next one is to sign the bills, and we do have bills. Just one thing, that's it, huh? In the Kingston Street, nobody's,
I talked to Jim when he missed the last one, and he said he was going to have someone come, but I think he's still trying to figure out the design because he doesn't want that porous pavement. So,
which one's this one?
Kingston.
That's Kingston, okay. Well, it's a continued one, so why don't I read the notice? All right, moving on to our meetings and hearings. Our first one is a continued public hearing, and it's regarding the notice of intent filed by Volpini Real Estate LLC for the construction of a house, well, and septic system at 25 Kingston Street. Is anybody out there for that? No? Okay, this has been continued a number of months, so we will again continue it until our next meeting, which is March 17. Our second hearing is also a continued public hearing, and it's regarding the notice of intent filed by Salim Aoud for the construction of a retaining wall and associated site work at 203 North Quinsigamon Avenue. And I don't see anybody out there. Oh, John, you were here for that one?
He's still trying to figure out his wall issues.
He needs the PE review, an independent PE review, and he still hasn't done that?
No,
he probably can't get anybody to do
I
it.
haven't talked to him
Yeah,
in the past, couple of weeks, but I'll reach back out to him, but I'm sure if he had something, he would let me know.
okay. So we'll continue that until our next hearing again.
Please.
The next hearing is March 17, 2020. All right, we have a new public hearing.
Oh, I don't notice this.
Is the notice in there?
I don't know. Oh,
Yep, there it is. All right, notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, at 7 Sherrill Realty Trust, 24 Sherrill Drive, Shrewsbury, has filed a notice of intent for site work associated with the construction of a single-family house at 577 South Street. A public hearing will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 18th, in the Selectmen's Meeting Room. Good evening.
Yeah, John Grenier on behalf of the applicant. As you stated, this is just for some off-grading within the 100-foot buffer. This lot had an order of conditions associated with it back when Fran Zaretti owned the property. Then he sold off a number of frontage lots on South Street. The house and all of the majority of the grading is outside the 100-foot buffer. In order to have the septic system to be gravity, we needed to push that back a little bit further on the lot so that it would work, with the elevation of the structure and make sure everything works gravity for the septic system. The applicant at one point was looking at putting a small retaining wall just outside the 100-foot buffer. And it was the preference of the Board of Health and I believe the engineering department to be able to grade that out, just one less thing to go wrong. If you have a retaining wall, then the retaining wall fails and you have issues with your septic. So we're proposing to grade that out, probably 25 feet into the buffer zone. And if you're familiar with this property, it's a big wide open field. It's kind of a little bit overgrown now. But there's no trees per se to be cut. It's pretty much all just meadow and field. So it's just a little off grading, as I said, about, I don't know, 25 feet or so into the buffer zone.
Martha?
So the only disturbance that you're talking about, John, is the grading inside the buffer zone?
Correct.
Okay, for about how far?
1 inch is 20 feet, so it's in 25 feet maybe.
Okay. And you said that it's meadow now? Would it be possible to reseed that instead of with lawn grasses, to reseed that with meadow
The
grasses?
slope,
Yeah,
I'm sure,
okay. All right. That's it.
That's it. Jason?
I'm all set.
Ken?
All set.
Andy?
No, we're all set, so this was pretty straightforward.
The perimeter drain for the foundation, that's just discharging
daylighting.
daylight right at the end, just with enough clearance for the septic, right, from the leach field?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? Seeing none, we'll close it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, John.
Have a good evening.
This is the last one, Ken. All right, our next public hearing regarding the notice of intent filed by South Shore Realty Trust for site work associated with the repair to an existing stone wall at number 6 Tatasset Circle has been postponed until our March 17, 2020 meeting. All right, we have one more for the night, and it's notice of meeting. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, that Margaret E. McArdle, 48 Holondo Drive, Shrewsbury, has filed a request for determination of applicability for the construction of a three-season porch at 48 Holondo Drive. A public meeting will be held on the above notice at 7 p.m. on Tuesday evening, February 18th, in the Selectmen's Meeting Room.
Hi,
Hi.
good evening. I am the applicant, Margaret McCardle, and I live at this property, 48 Hillando Drive. And so I filled in a form for the applicability. And are you guys familiar where Hillando is? It's off of Walnut Street, which is just north of Route 9. There is an unnamed brook that kind of meanders through the town property there. And my lot abuts that. So I have an easement on my lot that is basically a drainage, so the stormwater goes into a culvert that goes under a piece of the town property, which my property abuts, and it daylights at the end of my property, hence why I have an easement. And that's what starts this unnamed intermittent stream, is the best thing to call it. And that has definitely some wetland plants. There's ash, there's red maple, there's ferns, poison ivy. So it's definitely definitely a wetland there. And so my property is within my whole house is within 100 feet of this brook. And it was built in 1994. So a lot of the things that I put in the package was just kind of showing where the property was. I have a map here that kind of gives you, I just downloaded from Oliver, it's just a Mass GIS website that shows you the resource area and then how far, in terms of distances, my house is and where my existing deck is and the one that I want to replace it with is. And so basically the existing deck is 13 by 10 now, it's falling apart. It's original to the house and we'd like to replace that with a three-season porch instead. So it'll still be like same decking type of material, but it'll have screens and it'll have a roof. My contractor's going to use 6 techno posts to go into the ground so that there's little to no disturbance of the soil, unlike doing like sonar tubes or previous methods. So I'm told that I don't even need to do like any excavation, there'll be none of that. I don't really think that there should be any need for silt fencing or anything like that, given that there won't be disturbance to the soil there. We have a yard that's just all grass until you get about, about to the edge of the property, which is about 47 feet at its shortest length, to where you get to that daylighted brook there. So, trying to think, is there any
Did
questions?
you prepare this all yourself? It sounds like it.
I did, yeah.
Pretty good job.
Oh, thanks. I cheat a little bit, I'm an environmental consultant, so.
Oh, okay. There you go. I used to a hand sketch.
Oh,
Martha?
okay.
Meg, is this, at what level is this going in on?
At what level?
At what level, is this on the ground, is this off
No,
the
it's,
second floor?
Martha, it's probably about 4 feet off the ground. So we'll need steps. So he's gonna take out the old steps. There's an existing concrete pad there now that he'll have to remove. And, because I want the steps actually closer to the house. So,
Concrete pad for the bottom of the steps?
yes, there's one there now, so that will have to get removed. And then there'll be another one put in at the new location, which will be closer to the
But
house.
not under the whole deck?
No, we're just gonna keep it, right now, it's just pea stone. So, just to kind of block
Okay.
light so that vegetation doesn't grow under the deck, but,
And you don't need to bring heavy equipment around through the yard to do any of the building?
well, I think the Techno posts, they have like this little machine that they kind of drive out and that it basically drills down the posts. And I think that would probably be the heaviest thing.
Okay.
But I can ask my contractor if he's thinking of something else, but,
I'm thinking about disturbance of the ground for any of the construction equipment that has to get back there. And
right,
if that's gonna tear up the grass layer, there's a
Right.
possibility for erosion.
yeah. Like, we're not gonna pour concrete or anything like that, so we wouldn't need anything large like that going back there. So it's just sort of, I picture as like, putting it on the deck and then building up just some posts basically to hold the screens and then the roof line, so a little bit more glorified than what we have now. And I guess the distinction here is that we'd like to go an additional 6 feet out. So currently, our deck is 10 by 13, and we would like to go out to 16 feet.
I'm all set, thanks.
Jason?
I'm all set.
All set.
Andy?
No, we're all set.
Does anyone in the public have any questions or comments on this hearing? All right, seeing none, someone wants the motion.
Make a motion that we issue a negative determination with respect to this three-season porch at 48 Hollando Drive.
We have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Great,
You're all
thank you.
set.
Thank you very much for your
Okay.
time tonight. Thanks.
All right, did Brad get to say what certificates of compliance we should do
Yes,
tonight?
yes, the only one he said is Nelson Point Road is not ready, so the rest,
All the rest are?
All the rest
So
are
we
good.
have
Yep.
4 others then. So Nelson Point, no.
So,
Want to make a motion, Ken, on the approval of the order conditions?
yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve the order conditions for 577 South Street for construction of a single-family home.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we voted on the negative, so that takes care of that.
These are all set.
yep.
Andy, did you get a chance to go down to 784?
I did, yes. So I did go out, as the commission asked. The homeowner wasn't there, his mother was there, but he did call me afterwards. But, I mean, basically, I think he's in the construction trade, so a lot of the material that was in those photographs is, he says, his material he's using on the site. So he's kind of using it as a contractor's yard. But I didn't see any new
No
work
new
out there. I didn't see,
walkways,
no,
I
no
think
new
that's
no
what-
walkway. The patio's been up there for a while.
Okay.
He did say he's looking to put an addition on the house this year, so I did remind him that he's gonna have to
Yeah,
close
right,
out the
keep those
enforcement. The
filed.
remnants of the shed are still sitting there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unsightly, I will
Yeah.
grant that, but I don't see any new work going on, so.
All right. So that the public knows, this is 784 Grafton Street, and we have an outstanding enforcement order with this site. All right. The bylaw discussion review, is there anything new this month? No?
I mean, Brad and I have started doing it, but I think the Paxton one seemed pretty straightforward, very simple. It had all the main key points that we need, so there's just a few talking points that we'll have ready for next time as far as, you know, disturbance, buffer zones, fees, that kind of thing. The rest of it was pretty straightforward, so
Okay.
we plan on having that for next time.
So you'd incorporate our guidance?
In essence, yeah, that would become, I mean, right now, it
So our
has the
guidance
30-foot.
will be memorialized
It
within
will
that?
be, yeah, the 30-foot no touch, and then, say, I think they have a 15-foot
Yeah.
no disturb for anything, and then a 30-foot for no construction. So there's some flexibility in there, there's some details that we'll have to figure out, but, you know, the hard bit's done.
Were you able to get a chance to get a hold of Mia?
I've not, no, I don't know if Brad has, I can check with him, so. But, I mean, it seemed very.
I might give her a call if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah, I mean, it's one of the most simple ones I've seen out there.
Right.
So, which is what we need.
All right. Moving on to our last item, discuss project plan revision for 246A South Quinsigamon Ave.
And I apologize, we were here last month, and there was a miscommunication between me and my engineer, Jay. So that's what we're trying to kind of clarify right now.
So I have two plans.
Andy, did you get a chance to see the revised plan? This is a
I did,
revised
Brad,
plan,
I don't know,
take it,
Brad
right?
did send an email out towards the end of the day today, I don't know if you've got a chance to read it, if not, I can.
It was sort of
I can
hard
talk
to
to it.
see, but I did look at it.
Yeah, he thinks it should be an amendment order rather than,
Yeah, I know,
one field
yeah,
change,
it does
so.
look it.
And obviously, it came in after the deadline, so.
Yeah.
But we figured it would be worth at least having talking points at this point.
All right, why don't you tell us where we
So-
finished last month? And it appears that work has grown now to include the wall along the entire,
Yeah, so
Lake border.
everything is the same on the plan with the demolition of the
Yep,
house
yep.
and all that stuff. And I did have this section down on the water here already
Correct.
to be replaced, existing retaining wall, stairs to be rebuilt. There was an old wall also that ran along this additional like 25 feet or so along the shoreline. I did go out and take photographs. You can see, sections of mortar and stone still stuck together that had fallen in. And his intention was to replace that entire section instead of just the section that I had showed.
yeah.
And, since he really can't do construction until that was done, we were just hoping that we could just, file this plan. I mean, the order of conditions isn't gonna change. I don't believe there was any butters here at the original hearing either, so we were hoping to just be able to file this plan, and be able to commence with construction.
Yeah, I saw some photos that were sent out. The wall beyond the stairs here, it looks like that's long since eroded down to like, I mean, it looks almost like a gravel banking.
Well, it is,
You
it's
know?
all old mortar stone that has collapsed down.
Yeah, so there's really no wall, so to speak.
So I have pictures of the wall.
Yeah, can you bring
When
it
it
up?
was-
Yeah, if you can, yeah, because from what we can see, it looks like it's pretty much gone.
Are those original Polaroids?
These are from 1967,
Yeah.
1971 on that one, 1967 on those three. This
Well-
is from,
See, what I don't understand, this looks like a loose rubble wall. I mean, it's not a, a stacked
was
wall,
a-
so to speak.
my grandfather built it originally,
Yep.
and he wasn't a mason.
Yeah,
He
no,
was
it looks like,
lumberman.
almost like a riprap slope in a
Oh,
way.
but
Oh,
up here.
Up here, well, that's the part we already approved, I think.
No, no.
By the
so
stairs,
That's
correct?
to the left, it's the southern part.
Here.
The northern part was approved. This is a picture
Yeah,
of it right here.
what are we looking at in?
That's the stairs, original.
That's the original stairs.
This
And-
is the part we're looking at right here, and
Yeah.
it continued all the way down to the
Correct,
southern end of the property.
exactly. So last month, we looked at this section here, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that was a miscommunication between me and him. It was, I told him I wanted to
Yeah.
replace the existing wall. When you look at it now,
Yeah,
it's apparent that this is obviously a retaining wall with the stairs.
Yeah.
This has since fallen in with cinder block, fieldstone, river rock, mortar.
so what do you intend to do with this section right up in here?
It's all,
That's gonna still remain as it was originally
Right now, as it stands today? This.
No, as it was proposed.
Oh, as it was proposed last month?
Yeah, we're still looking to replace.
Okay, you're still
and
looking to
repair that.
replace that, okay.
So-
And then you want to pick it up from here all the way down to there?
yes,
So if I'm looking at this, which is really right about there, and we're looking,
right about here, yes.
yeah, somewhere around there, but looking down here, to me, it looks like a,
If you zoom in, this is over by the island near the house.
Yeah.
But you can see the existing wall in the entirety up to the next door neighbor house to the south.
I'm just, if I step back though, I'm just still trying to, I mean, even if there was no wall there before,
yeah.
we're still looking to just extend that wall further down, and I'm just not, I mean,
Right, but we have no details of how, I mean, right now, we're starting from scratch, really. We got a rubble,
well, it's gonna be the same mortar, just a mortar
there, this,
stone wall.
looking at that, show me where there's any
Yeah.
mortar. I mean, I don't see,
Well, isn't that whole thing
this
mortared?
is, just
Yeah,
looks
it's
like,
all mortar. up
That whole
above the
thing
lake
is
level.
mortared, it looked like it was just.
Up
It
here.
paved
gets eroded a lot quicker at the
Yeah.
lake.
oh, up on the top part, okay.
It was all at one point, but of course, the
Yeah.
erosion of the waves hitting against it.
Right, now, this isn't jiving with the pictures that was sent out.
No, I sent out pictures from right now.
And that's 1967.
Yeah.
So what's happening beyond this point, all the way down the shoreline? Are we talking, we still have that mortar up in here?
We're gonna demolish and replace it with actual fieldstone.
What I'm asking is, right now, I can see the vegetation sort of overhanging it, but there's mortar here, and that's the section right up in here.
Yes, right about here.
Does that continue all the way down here, the mortar, this
Yes.
mortar wall,
Yes,
all the way?
yes.
If
you can zoom in.
It's only about 25 feet long. It's
Yeah,
not
I
super long. But that proposed section that I've added to this plan,
Yeah.
this wall is no different than what this wall is gonna be constructed of. So the details are the same, it's not.
But now you're butting up into a butter's property there, which wasn't shown last meeting.
I think the other issue that Brad said is that they talk about it being scrub, but he thinks there's more vegetation there than just scrub, which will be lost if the wall's put back in, so.
I can pull it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the photos of the.
you got it right there too, Ken?
Yeah,
All right, that's a butter's wall that you're
That's-
supposedly going to meet up with on that
Yes.
side, right?
Yep.
He's actually doing the work. He's a mason.
Okay. What's going on here? Ken, do you have the,
Oh, I have, these are the pictures that were
I
sent.
mean,
more
his
than
computer
one I
can't
have.
Oh,
roll
here's
this.
the
Oh, here's-
butters
here's
wall,
another
here's
Yeah.
I
the,
want to zoom in, it's a little,
oh, he's got them on there.
yeah, I've got them on my computer, if you want to zoom in a bit
All
better,
right.
because you want.
where am I looking at there?
Where on the map?
Yeah.
this is just
South
like
of the
right in the
stairs.
middle here, yeah. So I mean, yeah, there is branches, kinda coming up through the ground, but it's nothing bigger than maybe a half inch. It's not like there's trees there that have to come down.
Yeah. Is this a vertical? It doesn't look vertical to me. Is it vertical? It's a perspective
It's
is,
on a slope right now.
yeah, it is on
Yeah,
the
it's
slope. huh?
45 degree.
Any questions, Martha, on this?
Beyond just wanting to put it back the way it was when your grandfather was there, what are your reasons for wanting to do the retaining wall?
Erosion control. It's visibly losing property. The angle's getting a little more steep every year. Just 100%, just keep the erosion. The lot's only about 4,800 square feet right now, and every square foot really counts when you have a lot that size.
Where is the erosion an issue in there? I don't see where,
Back when this picture was taken, it was a vertical from the edge of the stairs. If there is a picture of the stairs in here, it's gone back about, I would say, 6 to 8 feet from where it has, getting to a point where the tree that is there now is going to fall into the lake at some point.
okay, this,
So is that this tree here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
do you see that, Martha, any erosion? I mean, I'm just trying to picture where it's unstable.
I'm not seeing it, but if this was the original wall and it's fallen in, the erosion's already, it's happened.
Yeah, but when
the
you say
past.
falling in, where's it falling in?
Well, all of this rock, I'm assuming, wasn't part of
All of that
the
rock
lake.
that's there was the wall that has collapsed. I mean,
From the top of the banking there?
Yeah, it was a fieldstone
Yeah,
mortared
if you
wall,
look at,
so all
look
that
at.
It is a-
stone
that is a big
this,
issue.
That's a drop.
Yeah, okay, I can
That's
see it
un-
now.
That's the
That-
undercut bank
I
there.
thought that was part of the original wall going all the way up to here. So you've lost the rock from the top of that banking
Yes, sir.
down to there.
The wave action of the boats now, it's a lot different than what it was years back, and it's causing a lot of issues with these stone walls.
The wake boats are very nice boats, but they create a 4-foot swell when they come in and hit the land.
The walls, I'm guessing, were not designed with wake boats in mind.
Hey, my grandfather wasn't an engineer when he built it back then. He was a milkman and he did a great job, and it lasted a long time, but did a better job than I could have.
Jason, do you have any comments on this?
No, I don't.
Ken?
No, I mean, the only issue is that it wasn't presented when we had the original meeting. I know part of it was, and if somebody had an issue with it, they couldn't speak to it. I think it needs to be done. I just think it's a formality that wasn't addressed at the last meeting. That
Mr.
could- that
Kuzi,
could be
who
an issue.
lives right here, is, he's aware, obviously, I wouldn't take my word for it, but he is aware and he's happy that it's going in.
Is the neighbor on the side, is that the one who's?
That's
who's
Mr.
build-
Gomes, yes,
He's building the wall?
yes, he
Okay.
he bought the property in between us, he bulldozed it, put an addition in the pool. He, did a retaining wall, and he's gonna do a matching, different color, more of a gray tone, but he's doing the exact same style wall, stairs, and hopefully continue.
Yeah, he
to-
did a nice job with his wall. It looks good.
And the only way to access that right now would be through his property. He's gonna take his machine down where there's access, because it's under construction. We're gonna go in right here, build the wall, and he's gonna climb out. Any material he needs gonna go into his property this time next year, or next November, when we would be able to do it after the lake is drained again. We would have to probably rent a crane for the day, a couple grand a day, drop the machine in, get the material, and then a week later, get another crane, which isn't the end of the world. It's still gonna happen.
The question I have is, what is this wall gonna look like? This wall is collapsed now. Are you gonna try to do a vertical wall? Or are you gonna go almost like a riprap bank now?
He starts 4 feet at the bottom, it goes up to about 3.5 feet at the top, it gets angled a tiny, he's doing the exact same method he did for his own wall, and he
Okay,
did.
so he's just
well
cutting
over
it
100
back
feet.
slightly, so basically a
That's
vertical
his
wall.
wall. So his
Yeah,
is
no,
his
that's a
wall.
nice wall. Yeah.
It's a beautiful, yeah, it's gonna be the same without the decking there. And I have a picture from the lake of his wall. It's gonna match. So this was taken in May. He's since put the addition there, but his wall
Yeah.
goes the length of that, and then it's just gonna,
And we really don't have a problem with him, because that was presented last time anyhow. So it's just that guy there,
Could you
and
get
what you're saying.
what if you got a letter from the neighbor saying he was all right with that, since he's not here? Could
Absolutely.
you get us a
Yeah.
letter saying he's okay
I can
with
do that
that?
tomorrow.
Yeah, do that, and, because right now, it is a procedural thing, like Ken said, we're supposed to give all the abutters
Oh, I
a fair
understand 100%.
opportunity, and it wasn't shown.
And that was just miscommunication between.
Yeah. And also, just a little better description of how this wall's gonna be set up, and I think in the end, once you do install it, you should do an as-built elevations on it. Because we don't want to encroach anymore into the lake to, take up flood storage.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that was one of Brad's, it's very close to the flood storage, so he's talking about riprap slope, so obviously that will take away from the
Yeah.
flood storage, so.
Yeah,
there's
that
some-
was the
just
one
some
question,
details
yeah.
there.
You were saying riprap from the base of the wall?
Well, similar
To
to,
the-
to what he's doing, just to basically give those waves somewhere to break before they smash into
Alright.
the wall.
Because he's right on the flood zone.
Yeah,
He didn't put riprap in there.
Well, he's got like a heavy stone below his,
That was natural. He didn't add anything, he didn't put anything in the lake.
oh, it looked like it was just all consistent stone.
Yeah,
see, because now you're getting into taking away
yeah, he didn't
flood
put anything in the
storage.
lake.
So that becomes a whole nother issue.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you could probably almost leave all the stone that's there, below it.
I
Yeah,
suppose,
the
right?
original river rock.
That'll break up any wave, that'll help break up wave action too as it comes
Is that
in.
okay to leave it, do you think?
Well, it's
What's
there
yours
now. I mean, it's
it
there.
is there now, so,
That's existing flood storage.
well,
It's impacting the existing flood storage.
It
It's not
is.
changing anything.
That's probably been there since they redid the.
yeah, it's since it collapsed, then nature took its course there. It wasn't a man-made thing. All right, why don't you try to get that letter then?
Absolutely.
Like Ken said,
sir.
and give us a little better sketch of what this wall's gonna look like. I mean, at certain elevations, you become subject to also having a guardrail on it, which is, what, 5 feet is it? Andy?
We're gonna do that. I have 2 small children and a dog, so that was
Yeah.
part of the condition of my wife to agree to this whole project, was,
So why don't you come up with that sketch, a cross-section of it,
Yes, sir.
with exactly how you're gonna do it,
yes, sir.
all right? And then we could do a field change to that, right, Ken? I would assume.
We can make a motion if you'd like to
Yeah.
vote on it, and that way if he gets the information, then
Subject to the information coming in and being amenable to the engineering department.
Say, he had some concerns about what the vegetation is there too, I don't know, he was.
But looks like it's going up through the rocks, doesn't it?
Those are
So-
roses.
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, the part on here, that collapse,
Oh,
Ken's got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shrubs.
So I thought that was natural banking, just, yeah.
Do you know what these are? The shrubs?
No, ma'am.
What do you want, a couple shrubs at the top, Martha, maybe to replace, or?
Not necessarily. I'm curious what filled in on the bank itself. And you are gonna be taking those away, but I don't think there's a, unless you wanna put, well, you're doing the rail anyway, right?
I'm gonna do a whole iron fence above the top and going down to the stairway with a gate.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. All right, so, get the letter, do the detail, bring it to engineering, we'll vote on making this a field change if the information is amenable to the engineering department,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Sounds good.
How's that? Worst case scenario, if it weren't, we'll have to do an amended order, okay?
Wonderful. Thank you.
All
very
right,
much.
does that sound good to everybody here?
Sounds good.
All right, why don't you take your historical pictures back?
Sir, I have a lot of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we can hang on to these?
Yes.
Yep. All right, thank you.
you want to make a motion? You wanna make a motion?
Yeah, why don't you make a motion, Ken?
So we'll make a motion that we issue a field change for work to be done at 246A South Quinsigamond Ave. It would include the additional work to replace a fieldstone wall along the lake. We would need to get a letter from the abutter stating that he's amenable to the work, and that a detail of the wall be sent to the engineering department for their approval.
And an as-built, when complete with final elevations, okay, and location of the wall. And I think we agreed, no riprap from the wall to the water line, okay? Just what's
Leave it
there, if you can use what's there.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right, we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Make a motion, we adjourn?
Martha, anything? You all set? Jason?
All set.
All right, Ken.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You waiting for anything?